guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a full face of first impressions, including the new Estee Lauder Double Wear Cushion Foundation, some Kat Von D products like the new Transluscent powder, her brushes, the Cover FX drops that everyone's talking about. I put them to the test, and a bunch of other high-end makeup. So this is my high-end version of this video. I will have a drugstore video just like this, testing out new drugstore makeup. I wanted to get back into the swing of things now that I'm back from my vacation. It was amazing. I do have a Cancun vlog. I'll talk to you guys more about everything in this actual video. I miss just like chatting with you guys because this video is already long because I talk a lot. Let's get right into the video. If you want to see how I got this look and you want to hear my opinions on some new high-end makeup, then keep on watching. So let's get started. I am so excited to be sitting here and talking to you guys. I feel like I haven't really talked to you guys in a really long time. I actually have an ear infection. Since I got back from Cancun, I feel like I can't really hear properly. After I went scuba diving, both of my ears just feel really clogged. I went to the doctor and I have an ear infection in my right ear. I've been taking my drops, but I still feel really clogged and stuffy, and that actually caused me to be like really dizzy all the time. I'm feeling a little bit more mellow than usual. So let me zoom you guys in. So I'm just moisturizing my lips. I'm using MAC lip conditioner. I do look a bit lighter on camera. I'm noticing in the viewfinder I am a bit more tan than what it appears, but I'm actually going to get started with my complexion, and I'm so excited for this. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Cushion Stick Radiant Makeup. So I actually ran out and bought this today just to feature this in this video because I remember seeing it in store and I was just like, well, I have makeup on right now. I don't know what color I would be because I am tan. So I skipped out on it, but today I went and bought the shade Tawny, which if you watch me, you know I used to use Tawny like when I was a bit more tan last year, and then I got pale, and then I started using Dawn and Rattan. So this is Estee Lauder's new foundation. It's supposed to be a lighter version of the Estee Lauder Double Wear, but they do have an Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. But this one is just a little bit different. The lady at Macy's was telling me that this is just like a nice lightweight everyday foundation, and it's a 2-in-1 product because it comes with an applicator. And I'm saying this because I normally wouldn't really use an applicator. When you think cushion foundation, you think the compacts, but this one's actually a cushion stick. So you get this little guy in the bottom which has a cushion, and then you twist and the product comes out, and you're supposed to use the cushion to actually use the foundation. So you twist the bottom portion and the foundation comes out. Oh my god. So I'm just going to apply that all over. I kind of put a little bit too much in that first section, so I'm going to use that to kind of dot everywhere else. So the wear time on this is said to be 8 hours, whereas the Double Wear foundation is actually 12 hours. This one isn't going to wear as long, but it's like a lighter everyday version of the Estee Lauder Double Wear. And I love Estee Lauder because they have great shades from really pale to really deep, and I really like that they have pink and yellow and just great shade selection. So again, I got matched to Tawny, so I'm going to be using the cushion for the right side of my face, and then on the left side I'm going to use another brush that is new. So it kind of feels like I put a little bit too much to be using this little buffer guy. I'm typically not a brush or buffer kind of girl when it comes to my foundation, just because I do have dry skin and it tends to over exfoliate. I feel like if I really took the time to use this, it can look good, but because I put on a lot, I'm going to use my beauty blender to push the product in. Because I did put a lot of foundation, I feel like we'll be there forever. I was so excited about this foundation that I didn't even put a primer on. Now I can actually see how pore minimizing this foundation is and how good it would be without a primer. I didn't use a primer, but it wasn't on purpose. It was totally by accident. So for this side of my face, I'm going to be testing out the new Kat Von D Exclusive Sculpted Shape Foundation Brush. Shout out to JCPenney, Sephora at Queen Center Mall, because I got like really good customer service there. When I went looking for these Kat Von D products there, the girl that was there actually went like above and beyond to find the products. Like she had to call her manager and get the keys and like go somewhere else, and She like really just made my experience pleasant. So this looks kind of like a Sigma foundation brush, like the precision ones. It has two sides, really dense bristles. I'm not going to wet it because I just want to see how it performs on its own, and this is the number 10 brush. The tip of it is actually pretty pointy. I love the Kat Von D eye brush and the contour brush, but I hate that they're double-ended, so I'm so happy that this one isn't double-ended. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like paint this on to see how that works. And this, wow, that actually looks really good. This is really easy to put on with this brush because it's kind of like a foundation brush that's like those paddle brushes, except it actually blends the product in. With a typical foundation brush, I have a really hard time not looking streaky, and this is not looking streaky at all. The beauty blender and the cushion on the foundation kind of gave this side a more natural dewy finish, where this one is looking a bit more matte and is giving me a little bit more coverage. I also really like this brush because it can get into those little cracks and crevices of the nose. A big pet peeve of mine is the way foundation looks on my nose when I'm using a brush. I probably should have used a primer or moisturizer because my skin is so dry from the tan that I got, well, the burn that I got, which turned into a tan. I actually broke out on my forehead and on my chin kind of area because I was putting like a lot of SPF on and aloe on my face and even cortisone because my face was so burnt. So I did break out. So it didn't cover my blemishes at all. I mean, it is a light foundation. I wasn't expecting it to cover my blemishes, and it definitely didn't. Like up here, I don't feel tight. With Estee Lauder Double Wear, I can feel like I have a mask on sometimes. This one is just super light. Like I don't feel like I have anything on, which is a plus, and I really liked this brush. I'll have to try this foundation brush with other foundations to know how it performs, but right now I am giving this a double thumbs up because this side of my face just looks a lot more flawless than this one. This one just looks really like natural, like I have a BB cream on, where this one just looks a little more put together and seamless and flawless. I like this and I love this. Next up, we're gonna conceal, and I'm using the new Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer, and this is in L15 Neutral. And I don't know if this is gonna be too light, but the girl that was helping me said that in the bottle these look really light, but when you apply them they're a lot darker. So she said this is comparable to Custard from NARS. Custard would be the concealer shade that I use from NARS if I am tan, so I'm hoping this color works out. I was reading a lot of negative reviews saying that it was really drying, and I have dry under eyes, so let's see how this works. I also saw that it was really like full coverage, and I guess depending on your taste. Right now this is feeling like whiteout slash paint. I can definitely tell that this is on the thicker side. I recently tried the Tarte Shape Tape and I love this. Oh my god, it's so good. I got light medium and it's amazing. I love that concealer. And also, I've been loving the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. At first, I thought it was really drying, but I just was having a bad like skin day, but now I'm obsessed with it. It's actually really hydrating and it doesn't give that much coverage. So let's see how this blends. I'm gonna use my beauty blender. On camera, everything is looking lighter than what it really does in person. So I apologize for that, but my ring light and my box light kind of washes things out. That actually blends it out really nicely. Doesn't look dry to me and it doesn't look cakey. So I'm actually really impressed with that. Not too light, not too dark. You know, it's still brightening under my eye, but it's not too light for this tan that I have. I got to New York, my face was so tan and my legs barely got a tan. Like my legs, I just feel bad for them. They take so long to get tan, and that's like really what I want tan. You know, when you wear shorts you want to have nice tan legs. I am seeing a little bit of creasing, but that's completely normal for me because every concealer creases on me until I set it. Speaking of setting, I also got the Kat Von D Translucent Loose Powder. This is what I was most excited for from the Kat Von D collection because not too many people come out with loose powders. I mean, Laura Mercier, RCMA, those are like my ride or dies. I really only use loose powder underneath my eyes to bake with, so I'm not really a fan of like the Makeup Forever or the NARS just because I don't use them underneath my eyes to bake. So I actually had a friend come over. She's been a really big supporter of mine. Her name is Victoria and she's from Connecticut. And she came by yesterday and, you know, I gave her a full face of makeup. We were just chatting. I was really tired and I felt really bad because I was so out of it. Like, I was just drained. Like, you could just hear it in my voice. I've just been really drained. But we had such a good time, and she actually gifted me a gift card. So today I go to Starbucks, and you know, I'm gonna just get my regular black tea lemonade. I was like, should I buy this tumbler? I've been looking at it, and my straw broke on my other tumbler. The gold one that I have, it's like a pink straw, I believe, or a red straw, and it broke. Like, it broke off. I don't know how, but of course the straws at Starbucks are being recalled, so I can't buy a new straw unless I buy it on Amazon. Long story short, I was like, let me just go buy a new one. This is a clear one. So I go and I use the gift card that she gave me, and it had $50 on it, and I literally died. I was like, I'm Starbucks rich right now. And I just thought that was really sweet. So thank you, Victoria. I already thanked you, but thank you again. So I'm enjoying my tumbler and my black tea lemonade. Okay, back to makeup. So this comes in one color, translucent. The packaging is really large and in charge, but it actually has less product than the La Mercier. This has 0.67 ounces, whereas the La Mercier has 1 full ounce. And then the RCMA is 3 ounces if you get the standard bottle. So this actually has less product, but it's a pretty big bulky packaging. The RCMA has a white tone to the powder. This one's more comparable to the La Mercier because it has like a yellowish peachy, like cornstarch kind of look. This has no scent, and I'm just using my beauty blender, and I'm just going to apply that. This feels like baking normally feels, which is very tight and dry. So I'm only gonna bake underneath my eyes just because the rest of my face is really dry. And let me just zoom you guys in. Once I dust this off, I'll let you guys know how it looks. Right now, I mean, it just feels like a normal baking powder. Feels like the La Mercier. I'll know the true test once I remove this. So I'm gonna be filling in my brows with the Brow Wiz, and I'm using medium brown. I finally got my eyebrows done right before going on vacation, and hallelujah. Cancun was amazing. I actually have a vlog. Let me know if you guys want to see that on Sunday, just so that I can kind of get like a routine going, like vlogs on Sundays only. It was supposed to go up yesterday, but I'm actually waiting to develop a CD that I got when I went scuba diving, because the scuba diver instructor, said that he got some videos of us. So I figured that would be kind of cool to include in the video. I have to see the footage first, obviously, but where the hell can I get like a computer with a CD? Like, I was thinking of going to Staples. Mac computers don't really have CD drives anymore, and I don't think the library has a spot for CDs, so I might just end up going to Staples after this to get the CD, like the pictures and the video, onto a G drive or flash drive, or so that I can put that into the vlog. What times should I upload? Like, I don't know, everyone's like on a different time, and I'm very OCD when it comes to my life and like organizing things. I don't like pre-filming, and I don't like having a schedule, but I feel like it would help me a lot to have a schedule. I don't know how people can talk and do their eyebrows. I haven't set the foundation, but I'm noticing that every time I touch my face, the foundation comes off, which I guess is kind of normal, but not really. Like, with certain foundations, there's less of that, but with this one, like, the slightest touch is leaving an imprint. Let's go ahead and actually set the foundation so that I don't cause these little marks. So I'm going to be using a little bit of C5, which actually looks a little bit too peachy, too warm for my skin. But the C is supposed to be like yellow, because in MAC powders, C means cool. And if you look at the color wheel, cool is like yellows and blues. And so I know that kind of throws people off. Like, cool is supposed to be like gray tones and like pinky tones, you're thinking. But actually warm is reds and pinks. And so for MAC, C means yellow, and it throws me off because this doesn't even look yellow. This looks very warm. But I'm going to go ahead and set my face with it anyway, because it's like the closest thing that I have right now. And I'm using another Kat Von D brush. This is the number 20, the powder brush. And I really wanted the other one, but they didn't have it. So let's go ahead and apply these. The bristles on this one are actually really flimsy. I mean, the Studio Fix powder provides a lot of coverage, but depending on the brush, it can look really cakey and really dry and just a little bit too much coverage. So this one is actually really nice because it's like wisping the color on. Some of my foundations don't even cover up any trouble spots that I have, even if they're like full coverage or medium coverage. So I love this Studio Fix powder because it will cover up any blemishes that your foundation didn't. So I'm going to conceal my eyebrows. Okay, so now I'm going to prime my eyes, and I'm using this MAC paint pot in Layin Low Pro Longwear Paint Pot. And I actually got this because of my girl Jasmine, Juicy Jazz, on YouTube. She's from Pennsylvania and I love watching her. She's so dope. She said this was a great color for medium and deep skin tones. I actually really like how this is looking. In the winter time, or with my natural skin tone, it might be a little too dark. So I'm going to be using the 35F palette, which has a ton of shimmers and some really nice matte transition shades at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and set my lid and pretty much all of the eye area with this peachy color. I'm not really going to do anything crazy on my eyes just because the focus of this video is to test new products out, and I'm not going anywhere after this, so I'm just going to be applying eyeshadow for the sake of this video. So I'm just using that first color just as an all over color. If you use a powder straight onto a cream, so let's say I used my crease color like straight on right after that paint pot, it's gonna look really patchy. I would always do that, like apply my eyeshadow straight on, and I feel like I just get a better result when I have a full over lid color. So I'm just going to be applying my crease color, and I'm kind of going for an all over matte brown lid because I want to do a pop of color on my waterline. I'm not doing any precise crease work, so I'm actually going to bring that color onto my lid, taking something a little bit lighter on the lid because I feel like that color is looking a little bit uneven. So I'm just playing around with all of those brown shades at the bottom. Taking this Ingla 6SS brush, and I'm dipping into Bobbi Brown Camel just to give me a little bit more of a warm crease. I just want a little bit more definition. So I'm going to be using Blanc type on my eyebrow bone and on the inner portion of my eye. This has an X on it, and I'm pretty sure someone told me this is being discontinued. So I was able to get my hands on it recently. I did back to MAC, which means you bring in 6 containers from MAC. They have to be plastic, so you can't bring like the eyeshadow pans by themselves. Like they actually have to be like plastic packaging. So if you bring 6 products, you get a free eyeshadow or a free lip gloss, but it has to be at a MAC store, because if you go to the MAC counter, I believe they can only give you an eyeshadow, but if you go to the actual store, there's a bit more of an option. So this is just a nice flat white shade. So I'm taking a clean Morphe brush. I'm just going to blend, and this is a G something 7. It got rubbed off, and I'm going to define my eyebrows because I only just kind of gave them a little bit of shape and definition for the sake of my eyeshadow, but they're just a little too untouched. I'm not really going to do much else as far as eyeshadow, so I'm just going to, oh lord, oh no. Okay, this powder do not bake with if you are not moisturized. Okay, so that powder was probably left on for too long. I guess because I'm not really moisturized, it wasn't really a good idea to bake, but I wanted to try it anyway, and it just doesn't look good. It looks really patchy and dry, so I probably should have just set my under eye and not baked. So I'm going to take some Fix Plus and just drench myself in it for a little bit because I don't want to look like a desert right now. Okay, so that Fix Plus definitely helped a lot. I'm actually going to take a little bit of Melt Cosmetics new Rust Stack, and I'm using the shade Rubbish, and I'm going to apply that to my crease for a little bit more warmth because I'm going for like a rustic eye. Honestly, I'm not impressed by these. The consistency of them is just not like the other Melt Cosmetics stack. I don't know if it's just like a new factory, new production, or it's just the Rust stack that I'm not liking, but the Dark Matter stack I love. I'm not wowed by it like I was wowed by the other one, so that kind of sucks. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply some mascara. I'm gonna be using the Makeup Forever Excessive Lash, and I'm gonna give myself a quick coat. Look who came to join us. Who's being a good boy? The lights were so bright for him. Coco, where are you? Why Coco's bending in with the pillow though? I love him so much. You're like mommy's joy. I love you. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply these lashes. Let's see how they look with no liquid liner. So the lashes look really good. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some liquid liner right in front of the lash band. These don't actually have an invisible band, they have a dark band, and so I feel like it looks obvious that I don't have any eyeliner on. And I feel like just applying some liquid liner on top, just make sure that they don't move and they don't lift off. Applying lashes with no liner can be very tricky, especially if they're dramatic. I feel like they tend to pop up more if you don't have anything over them or under them, because they're not really holding on to anything. So this liner is kind of acting like a protective layer of glue. So now let's move on to bronzing. I'm gonna be using this Marc Jacobs bronzer, and it's not a new product, but it's new to me. And this is such a large bronzer, so huge, and the color is Tantric. It's the only color that it comes in. In person, it does look very warm, almost like a MAC Give Me Sun, and I'm using a MAC 135 brush, and I'm just going to be using this to bronze up my temples, my cheeks, and pretty much everywhere. But I'm just going to be bronzing up my face. I'm not doing any like harsh contour, but I just want to look nice and tan and even. I feel like the foundation just never fully set because I still feel sticky. So I'm just lightly dusting that translucent powder everywhere else. I feel like this bronzer looks really nice. It looks natural. It just blended really nicely into my skin. It looks like skin. I feel like this bronzer just helped match my face to the tan that's on my shoulders and on my arms. I'm going to be applying my blush, and this is the new Marc Jacobs Air Blush, and I got this in the shade Flesh and Fantasy 506. So this is what the packaging looks like. It looks like the bronzer, just nice, really sleek black packaging. Online, this looked really peachy coral, and in person, it's more of a dusty rose and like a light vanilla shade. So let's go ahead and try it out anyway, because I'm excited to try it out formula-wise, but I just have a feeling I'm not gonna like the color. But I actually have another blush bronzer combo that I can always add to this if I don't like it. So I'm using a NARS brush, and I'm going to dust this on my cheeks. So that actually looks really pretty. It's kind of like a highlight blush combo. It's a nice natural flush of color, but I do wish it was a little bit more peachy. But I feel like on the skin it looks a lot better than in the pan. In the pan it just looks like a rosy color mixed in with vanilla. So I'm actually gonna add another blush product on top, and this is the Kevyn Aucoin Neo Bronzer. So this is a ton of high-end products, I know, but let me be your test dummy. Let me go ahead and buy all of the high-end expensive makeup, and then I can let you guys know what I like and what I don't like, because I'd rather test it out than you guys go out and spend all this money, because this is my job. This is in the shade Capri, and this is the Cool Pink. I meant to pick up the other one, which was the Cool Coral, because I love coral and peachy blushes, especially when I'm tan. And the concept of this is that you get a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight. You can swirl it all together for a nice flush of color, like a bronzy pinky color, or you can use them individually, which you have to use a brush that isn't large, because I feel like you get so much of the pink that it's kind of hard just to grab the bronzer. So I bought this to use kind of like swirled all together. This does kick back a lot of powder, so be careful when using this. Definitely tap your brush off because it picks up a lot. So let's add a little bit more color onto the apples of the cheeks. So you see this side just has a little bit more warmth and a little bit more color, which I like, especially when I'm tan, because I don't want to look flat, I want to look flushed. And I actually love that these products have built-in highlights, because then you don't necessarily have to apply a highlight if you're not into highlighting but you still want like a little bit of a sheen. This would be perfect. Like, you can just stop right here because you still have a nice sheen, but you know I'm gonna be extra. Let's go ahead and add the product that I've been dying to try. This is my baby. Well, I haven't tried it, but this is still my baby. So these are the new Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. I'm just really grateful. Thank you, Cover FX, for sending these all over. I was most excited for like the lighter shades, like this one, which is Celestial, but I'm actually going to use something a little bit more tan. I'm going to use Moonlight. You can mix this into your foundation, but I figured for first impressions, I wanted to try the foundation on without like enhancing it or doing anything to it or altering it. I don't know if you have to shake it, but I'm gonna shake it regardless. I don't even know how to go about applying this right now because it is a dropper. So I guess let's just, oh. Okay, so that's a little too much probably, because you don't need a lot. I hope I don't look like the Tin Man after this, but I'm gonna go ahead and use my beauty blender to blend that out. And the cool thing about these is that you can use them on top of powdered products. So I think with the beauty blender, if you blend it out, you get a really nice like natural color. So this looks really pretty. I feel like I should have used something a little bit more golden. I'll play around with other techniques on how to apply it, like maybe just applying it to the beauty blender or with a brush or with the finger, or just directly mixed into the foundation. I feel like would be really nice. So I'm gonna take this one. This is from Lancome. This is a new highlight as well. This is their Silky Cream highlighter in Gold Lights, and it's very similar to the ColourPop highlights in a sense that it's like a cream to powder product. The packaging is very similar, like everything is really similar. So I'm gonna take the Anastasia highlighting brush and I'm going to apply this right on top to give me more of a golden sheen rather than a silver sheen. So as you can see, now it just looks a little bit more golden. I'm gonna apply some lower lash mascara, and I feel like the yellow eyeliner isn't like popping a lot on camera, but in person it does look really nice. So now I'm just gonna quickly finish off my eyebrows, and I'm gonna be using the dip brow in dark brown, and I'm just going to clean them up a little bit more and sharpen them and define them a little more because I feel like they're kind of just in the background and I want them to be a little bit bolder. For lip products, I have the new Bare Minerals Gen Nude Matte Liquid Lip Colors. I bought the shades Hemp and Om. And then I also have this, which is MAC Vamplified Lip Gloss, which actually was released and then they just like took it off and now it's back because everybody loved it. This color is really pretty. This is in Anything But Demure. This is the best-selling one out of all of the colors. It's like a taupey color. It looks like Lolita, but it's a really thin gloss. It kind of reminds me of Lolita mixed in with like a Kylie liquid lipstick, but it's a lip gloss. But I'm actually gonna go for something a little bit less mauve-y purple and a little more brown. So the shade Hemp is a really pretty like peachy nude. That one reminds me of Sao Paulo from Ofra. And then the shade Om is a little bit less peachy and a little bit more on the brown side. So I'm gonna go for this one just because I want something a little bit more earthy. The hemp color would look really nice if I'm a little bit more fair or if I use a lip liner. So I'm gonna use the color Om. These go on really nicely. They're like moussey and thin, like airy. They don't feel thick. So this is going on really nicely, kind of like an airy, like moussey kind of texture. Kind of like the Ofra ones. I'm going to add a little bit more blush just because I feel like the highlight kind of just took over my cheeks. So I'm going to use the Kat Von D powder one to see how it works with blush. It looks so much better when you add your blush on top of your highlight, just so that it doesn't look like you just have a ton of highlight. Like it just looks a lot more seamless when you apply a little bit of blush on top of the highlight, right in between the highlight and the bronzer. I'm applying a little bit of eyebrow powder to my brows, just to sharpen them up, make them look a little bit more even. And this is the Tem Nova eyebrow powder. Sorry, I'm so focused. This guy. This works really well. I feel like it's very pigmented and I love the color. I got the color Mink. I felt like I just needed something different other than the Anastasia brow powder. I love that, don't get me wrong, but I just wanted to try something new and it just makes my eyebrows match my hair a little bit better. To make the inner corners pop a little more, I'm adding a little bit of Kat Von D Thunderstruck just because I feel like it's missing a little bit of a like pop. The matte color is just not doing it for me for the inner corners. I feel like underneath my eye looks a little bit empty, so I'm gonna add a teeny bit of brown shadow just underneath to give myself a little bit more symmetry and a little more definition. Let's go over the products. The Kat Von D Translucent Powder at first was a big no-no for me because I baked with it and I let it sit there for a while, and I should have known better. I am pretty dry right now and I haven't really been using my eye cream, so I hope that next time I bake and I'm a little bit more hydrated and moisturized, that this looks good under the eyes. This did set my concealer and has no flashback, so that's really good. Packaging is really nice. The color is really nice. Doesn't give me a white cast. Just don't skip the under eye cream if you're going to be baking with this. The Marc Jacobs bronzer, again, isn't new, but I really liked it. I feel like I don't have to add any more bronzer. It showed up really nicely on my skin, despite me being tan. Normally when I am tanning, I do have to add like a lot of bronzer, and I didn't feel like I needed to do that with this one. So I think this is very much worth it. The Marc Jacobs blush in Flush and Fantasy, I wasn't crazy about the color. It just was a little bit too neutral for me. If you're into that like really natural looking color on the cheeks, like if you're the type of person that just uses bronzer on your cheeks, you'll like this. But it was pricey, so maybe it'll show up better when I'm a bit more fair. It just is color wise. The product was nice, you know, it has a built-in highlight. I like the consistency, I like the packaging, but the color was just not a standout color for me personally right now. So this was so-so. The Kevyn Aucoin Neo Bronzer in Cool Pink. I actually really ended up liking the Cool Pink. I really have been enjoying more of the coral color, especially for summer, but this surprisingly really impressed me. I really like the formula on this. I actually really like the color too. I think it just gives me a nice, fresh, youthful look. Nothing too overboard, nothing too over the top, but it does kick back a lot of powder, so be careful when you're using this. And I like that it has a luminous finish because it does have the highlights. So this gives you a nice flush of color. And this was pretty pricey, and again, I do think this is worth it. The concealer at first was a little bit scary because it was going on a little bit dry. The Kat Von D Lock-It concealer. At first I was like, it's just gonna look really bad. When I finished blending this with the Beauty Blender, I was really pleasantly surprised. It didn't look dry, it didn't look cakey. But I'm gonna test this out with another translucent powder to see if it was this plus the powder that made it look really dry under there. Like right now it doesn't look dry at all, but once I was wiping off that bake, it was just looking really cakey. So the next time I'm gonna actually bake with maybe the RCMA with this, and then try another concealer with the Kat Von D powder, just to really know what's not working for me and what's looking dry, because I hate looking dry and I hate looking cakey, and it was looking a little cakey. But once I sprayed myself with Fix Plus, that went away. Like I don't detect any cakiness right now under the eye, but I will say that it was creasing, which is normal for me, but some concealers just crease a lot more than others, and this one was one on the high crease list. After a while, like after I started doing something else, I noticed those really deep creases under my eye, but I still really like it and I like the color. Maybe I'll do something a little bit brighter just because I like that bright under eye, and right now I'm tempted to like apply some Kat Von D like yellow powder or the Laura Mercier translucent brightening powder. I just feel like I'm missing a little bit of brightness in the under eye. I do want to pick up a couple of more shades of this. I do want to get a lighter shade and the white shade. Something you don't really think that you need, but once you start mixing it in, you're like, wow, that really works. So I do want to get the white shade. This was nice. I still love my Urban Decay Naked Concealer, but it was nice. The Kat Von D brushes were really nice. I really love the foundation brush, which is really shocking for me because I tend to not really like foundation brushes, but I feel like this side of my face just looks so flawless and so seamless. The foundation just blended in. It looks like butter. This side looks nice, but this side just looks flawless. I'm so happy about this. I can't wait to use this with other foundations and really get like full coverage. And then this one I liked. I'm not over the moon about it. Definitely if you're gonna pick up one of the brushes, I recommend the foundation one. It's very unique and it's perfect for baking underneath the contour. I actually did that off camera and I loved it. I just applied a little bit of that translucent powder underneath to clean up, and this was perfect. It has these sharp edges. It just, hello, it's perfect for that. And then this one, I feel like I like this for blush more than applying my face powder, just because the bristles were a little bit flimsy on this one and it can tend to just drag the product rather than just like press the product in. If you have really oily skin or you really like that full coverage, you probably won't like this for powder, but I do like it for blush. But it is expensive, so for this to be your blush brush might not be really practical, but it was a good brush. It wasn't the best, but it was good. The Estee Lauder foundation was nice. It didn't cover up every single thing, but it's a nice everyday to-day foundation. It looks like butter, it looks like skin, and it evened me out, which I really like. As far as wear time, I would have to let you guys know in another post how long it wears, but the lady at Macy's said 8 hours, and I don't doubt that because the Estee Lauder Double Wear lasts forever on me, and it's a lot more full coverage and a lot more matte. So if I had to compare the two, the Estee Lauder Double Wear would be like my nighttime foundation or my full coverage, like I want to look flawless foundation, and then this one is my just running around. I like that this one has a little buffer. I don't feel like I have anything on. As far as foundation, it just feels really light, but I will say that it didn't really set well. Like I still feel a little sticky, so I don't think this foundation is gonna wear as long just because I don't feel like it ever set, which kind of concerns me. It still feels a little sticky even after MAC Studio Fix powder, which is super duper matte. I still feel dewy, which for me is no problem because I have dry skin. It is super humid out and I'm already kind of sweating, so it's lasting through the little sweat that's kind of coming through the foundation, but I would have to wear it out to really give you guys a full first impression on it. Maybe I'll do a comparison video between this one and the Estee Lauder Double Wear once I wear this and see how long it wears and how it looks in pictures and how it looks outside and all of that jazz. So far I like it. I love the packaging and I like the color. It really evened my skin out, and again, it just feels so lightweight, which is what I really like about it. And then the Bare Minerals liquid lipstick, I love this. So I have on Homme and Hemp is the other color that I have. I just love the consistency. This just feels so lightweight on the lips and I'm obsessed with this color and I just really love this. I think this is definitely something you guys should check out. They have tons of shades in this line, which is such a plus because they have all types of nudes, dark, light, pink, peach, like any type of nude that you think of, they have it in this line. And I really like this one, which is called Homme, and I just love how it's lightweight. It doesn't make my lips look really dry or patchy, and it doesn't accentuate the lines that I have on my lips. So I love this because it feels like I have nothing on, which for someone with dry lips, I can definitely appreciate that. And then the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops were definitely a thumbs up in my books. It looked so good. I just feel like I used the wrong color, but I do have all of the colors, so I'll play around with them a little bit more. I've really been into cream products, so it's no surprise that I love the Lancome Cream Highlight. Similar to the ColourPop, but I feel like it's a lot more silky and it just looks a lot more seamless on the skin. It doesn't look as streaky as the ColourPop. I do love the ColourPop ones because of their price point. I mean, they're amazing. But if you are into high-end makeup and you like cream highlights, this is definitely one you should try. It just blends it right into the skin and it just looks so glowy and so highlighted. And a lot of cream highlights, I feel like high-end wise, they just don't give you that stark, high intensity, high pigment glow. And I feel like these two definitely bring that glow to your face. Maybe I'll do another video wearing this mixed in with my foundation to let you guys know how it looks. I know it kind of sounds scary because this is so pigmented, but I've heard from so many people that it's not scary at all, that it looks really natural. So love these two. I pretty much knew I was gonna love these lashes, so this was no surprise. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go before I literally melt off of this chair. Sorry if you heard the little fan here and there in the video. I just had to have it on because if not, I'm literally just gonna melt off. It is that hot here in New York. So hopefully you enjoyed this kind of video. I missed you guys so much. I have tons of giveaways coming up. I am working on a huge giveaway for when I hit 250,000 subscribers, and I'll give you a hint. That was recording. So that concludes this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.